Welcome to Medical Edge. My name is Lisa Wilson. This program is produced as a partnership between the Mayo Clinic and the City of Thornton. We hope every episode provides valuable health information for you and your family.
We would go to killer capture, high value targets. En route to one of those, sometimes the enemy's ready for you.
In Iraq in 2005, U.S. Army Ranger Captain Matt Basic's armored Humvee was hit by an IED, an improvised explosive device.
The guts of the truck came up and pinned my legs down, so I could not move. Most of my heel and ankle was pretty much destroyed in the blast.
Fast forward to present day.
This is Captain Basic's socket.
Brandon Sampson is co-owner of Limb Lab, a company that builds state-of-the-art prosthetics. The prosthetists at Limb Lab team up with experts at Mayo Clinic to study and create new devices so people like Captain Basic can function better. Dr. Kenton Kaufman is a professor of biomedical engineering at Mayo Clinic.
One of our goals of working with amputees is to give them back their life, their function as they knew it before they were injured.
Anybody could make a leg. That's not the idea. It's to match the appropriate technology with the appropriate person to meet their goals and objectives.
Captain Basic is helping to test a new socket to see if it'll increase stability and decrease pain.
Normally when I get out of the shower, I kind of dry my leg off very carefully because it's usually sore in two spots. And after wearing the test socket for 2 days, I went to dry off, and it was so weird because it didn't hurt at all.
The addition of a newly designed flexible sleeve keeps the prosthetic in place so it feels more natural, more like an extension of the body.
And when he plants his foot in the ground, he can rotate his knee, and it's totally compliant.
So we're looking at the efficiency of the prosthetic system. That's important because amputees require more energy to walk than people who are not amputees. And so if we can make it more energy efficient for him to walk, he'll be able to walk more and be less fatigued at the end of the day.
Normally, these things get uncomfortable, soon. And you end up, changing your position a little bit and trying to, sit differently or stand differently or, walk differently throughout the day. And, I don't feel like I have any of those issues right now.
Beautiful. For Captain Basic, the newly designed prosthetic means he can move, walk, and run a little more like he did before he lost his foot in the explosion in Iraq.
Good one.
You're just wearing it now. It just feels like a foot. That's pretty cool.
For Dr. Kaufman, working to improve function is one way he and his colleagues can thank the wounded warriors who have sacrificed so much during their service. For the Mayo Clinic News Network, I'm Vivian Williams.
Nice shot, Vladdy, nice shot.
I like the intensity. It's a high-paced sport, a lot of contact.
Hey, hit! Hit!
A lot of contact.
I fractured my collarbone last year.
Sam Nelson with the Rochester, Minnesota IceHawks is one of the top goalies in the North American 3 Hockey League.
I personally thrive on that pressure. I love it.
To stay on top, Sam works hard to stay healthy. While some contact injuries may be tough for players to avoid, the IceHawks make special skills training and intense conditioning a high priority to help reduce the risk of other types of injuries.
A lot of physical preparation. I got to stretch a ton. It's a lot of work to keep your body upright and healthy.
Well, there's risk of injury in any sport. USA Hockey and Mayo Clinic Sports Medicine Center have come up with strategies to make the sport of ice hockey safer. And it really is a multifaceted approach.
Mayo Clinic orthopedic surgeon Michael Stewart knows the game and its athletes' health better than most. He's the USA Men's Olympic team physician and the chief medical and safety officer for USA Hockey, an organization with more than 500,000 amateur players of all ages. Sam and the Ice Hawks have another resource that helps them reduce the risk of injuries while also sharpening their skills. The Mayo Clinic Sports Medicine Program's collaboration with Exos, a performance training system for athletes at all levels.
Mayo Clinic Sports Medicine has a team approach, and we have physicians, athletic trainers, physical therapists, nutritionists, a hockey performance specialist, and then strength and conditioning coaches.
For a skater, it's really important to have strong hips, glutes, quadriceps, and hamstrings. And so we'll do a lot of unilateral work. So when we have an athlete that comes in and looking to improve their skating technique and mechanics, I kind of put it down into three major categories. We look at their skating platform, we look at their stride extension, and we look at stride recovery.
Hockey performance specialist Sean Vinn says training athletes to pay attention to things like knee position and hip alignment strengthens healthy habits and builds the skills to make them better.
So not only is having good technique and good form part of injury prevention because we're in a very stable and balanced, powerful position, but it's also helping increase stride efficiency, power, and overall speed of the skater.
Then you're going to take your right foot, you're going to step over that red string, touch your heel on the ground, and bring it back.
Our physical therapists, athletic trainers, Exos colleagues are very skilled at analyzing movement, determine if there's any asymmetries or any type of deficiencies that can be corrected before an injury occurs.
And then from their musculoskeletal evaluation, or how they're put together as a human, we're going to try to fix those issues they may have. You know, tight hip, weak hip muscle or core muscles. All right, Sam. So let me know if this bugs you.
Physical therapist Joe Eischen determined that Sam's hip flexibility is being limited by tightness in a critical group of muscles. Therapy and targeted stretching will lower his risk of injury while giving him more freedom to move in the net. As you might expect, hockey players burn a lot of calories. Complex carbohydrates are a good start, but competitive athletes need a healthy balance.
So you want high-quality protein sources like chicken and turkey and fish and eggs and those sorts of things. But then we also want to include those healthy fats that come from things like olive oil, avocados, almonds and walnuts and flaxseed and those types of products.
Athletic performance dietitian Luke Corey says proper hydration is also essential. He tells athletes to drink half their body weight in ounces each day, so 80 ounces of water for a 160-pound hockey player. Injured athletes may also want to season their diet with some natural remedies.
Different herbs and spices like curry powder, turmeric, garlic, and cinnamon can help reduce that inflammation, which speeds up the healing process.
Proper safety gear like helmets and mouth guards, that's a given. Dr. Stewart says it's also possible to train athletes to avoid and prevent most dangerous situations.
We teach them never to deliver a blow to the head, never check from behind, never charge or board an opponent.
But it happens, which is one of the reasons these high school athletes have been instructed through USA Hockey exactly what to do when they're headed for the boards.
Always keep your head up. That's the Heads Up, Don't Duck program, which is designed to prevent or at least reduce the risk of cervical spine or neck injury in ice hockey. Although there is some risk of injury, we hope that these prevention efforts will be fruitful. But at the same time, we'd like to emphasize sports are fun.
For the Mayo Clinic News Network, I'm Dennis Stoda. In the snowy hills of western Wisconsin, a new white blanket was piling up on Jim Radloff's long driveway.
A huge mound of slush because the plow had come through. It's like 8 o'clock in the morning.
Jim decided to simply do what he'd done all his life. He fired up the snowblower and got to work. Then slush clogged the machine, so he threw it into neutral, watched the blade stop turning, and stuck his hand in the edge of the chute.
All of a sudden, I hear that noise. Obviously, this was the dumbest thing I've ever done.
Gone were the ends of 3 fingers on his right hand.
You can see that's the exact angle of the blade.
1 year later, Jim's made an inspiring recovery, back playing the piano he's enjoyed since childhood. But he says he couldn't have come this far without some serious help.
Anything bothering here?
Marilyn Berg is an occupational therapist. Her patients often develop a whole new appreciation for a hand's complex mechanics.
In your hand, you have muscles, you have tendons, ligaments, and obviously the bones that hold everything together.
Jim's injury affected all those parts, and to help him heal, Marilyn had to get creative. Jim even nicknamed one of her devices.
So that's the torture tool.
This strap helped restore flexibility to Jim's knuckle joints. Marilyn says the goals of rehab are always to preserve range of motion, reduce swelling, and build strength, all essential for daily tasks.
You close doors, you lift things, you carry things, things you don't even ordinarily think about.
Take snowblowing off Jim's to-do list, however. His wife made him give it away.
And I don't look at it a lot.
He did keep the mangled glove he was wearing as a reminder to slow down, be safe.
This is what's left.
And to count his blessings that the accident wasn't worse. For the Mayo Clinic News Network, I'm Dennis Doda.
Hey.
Steamy plumes of breath in the crisp, cold air provides a visible clue that winter sucks the moisture right out of us. Wearing hats, scarves, and gloves is a good first line of defense, but can't change the fact cold air is dry air. Mayo Clinic dermatologist Dr. Dawn Davis says ignoring dry skin can lead to bigger health risks. And now's the season many people realize they have dermatitis.
And that is a very troublesome disease where you're very itchy and your skin is broken down and dry. And then it leads you to scratch. And when you scratch, you break the barrier open further. And of course, dry, cracked skin is at risk for infection.
Dr. Davis says the most obvious solution is to moisturize. She says you do not have to buy expensive brands of lotions to get good results. Just use them regularly.
As a dermatologist, we like to recommend that you avoid moisturizers that have strong perfumes or glitter or abrasives in them. Try to use a hypoallergenic lotion. If you feel that you need something that penetrates deeper, you can have something that's more of an ointment form that seals the skin.
Frequent hand washing, especially with hot water, can dehydrate skin, so after washing, gently pat hands dry, reapplying the moisturizer. Dr. Davis says no matter how cold it is, ultraviolet rays are still a threat during winter, so apply your sunscreen daily. Because our skin makes less vitamin D in the winter, she often recommends supplements. Humidifiers in the home help combat dryness. And since your scalp is part of your skin, many people notice increased dandruff during winter. Try rotating several brands of dandruff shampoo for best results.
Dandruff will become immune to monotherapy, something that we call in medicine tachyphylaxis. So you'll notice if you start a medical shampoo for dandruff that it will work very well for the first several weeks, and then most people plateau or find that it doesn't work at all anymore.
Finally, frostbite is one of the most dangerous threats our skin faces in winter. Dr. Davis says besides covering exposed skin and avoiding extreme cold, keep your gloves and socks dry. And of course, always seek immediate medical attention if necessary. For Medical Edge, I'm Dennis Doda.
That's all for this episode of Medical Edge. To learn more about the stories featured on this program, you can find additional resources by visiting our website and following the link to the Mayo Clinic. Thanks for watching, and be sure to watch the next episode of Medical Edge.